Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis, and I have this awesome team that God has provided for me, and I always like to introduce them. I'm going to start out with Faith. If I can get the cursor down there. Here we go. Faith has been raised in religious science. Her parents met in my church, and she grew up being an usher. When she was a baby, she sat on the podium and helped me do announcements, and then became an usher. And she became my official assistant a couple of years ago, 3 years ago almost. Wow, it's been a long time. And she's now about to turn 18 next month. We're so excited for her. And she's the person in the background that answers you when you say hi, hello, good morning, or any questions that you might have. And she does all the stuff in the background so that I can focus on just doing my talk. So she's also our soloist today. So we really thank you for being here, Faith. We love you.
Thank you.
And then there is my partner in crime, the wise and powerful Oz. He's been with me since 1998, actually, and took all of his training with me to become a practitioner, except for one class at Mile High, and was my board president for like 7 years, and then moved off to Florida, and we lost him for just a short time, but now he's back with us. So, and he's going to pray us in and pray us out, and we'll be available at the end for our 1 minute miracle. So thank you, Oz, for being here. We love you. Yeah, we had somebody and then they went out. I wonder if it was Joey with her. Sometimes she has really spotty Wi-Fi up in Como. Anyway, I'm sure there will be others who will join us in a bit. I also like to introduce people who have provided music for us to be able to do music on Sundays. The first is Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver. I can't get used to all those titles. And she has provided the music that we use, our second song every week, We Are All One, as well as songs that Faith and Tina sing as well. And then there's Karen Drucker, who has provided us with her entire collection of 20 CDs. And so we like to acknowledge her as well. We do her song at the very end, I Am So Blessed. So we do that every week. But we also use her music a lot in the service. And today we're going to be using some Karen Drucker music. So anyway, the topic today is Stand for Peace. And that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll leave you hanging, and then later I'll tell you what's going on. Say hi, good morning, hello, however you'd like to greet us, just so we know you're here. I know there's 1,000 places you could be on a Sunday morning, and we are really glad that you're here with us. And it also gives us an opportunity to see who's here, because in a church, in a facility, I can look out and see people's faces and their postures. And, I get some feedback back and forth, and we can't do that here. So it just kind of helps me to know who's here. So please say hi, hello, good morning, however you like. If you would like to do a watch party, it's a really great way for your friends to see what kind of talks they can receive here, and for them to ask you questions and answer their questions without bothering anybody. So click on that watch party button and invite all your friends to watch. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God, right here, right now. For God is ever present, eternal, and omnipresent throughout all of the universe and beyond. It creates the universe constantly. It runs the planets. It runs the environment. It runs us, our organisms, and the billions of processes that happen every moment are all upheld and manifested and brought forth through that one presence and one power that we call God. And I know that no matter what the circumstance, that within, if we acknowledge that presence, we know instantly the peace of God, the peace of being, and the peace that is available in abundance throughout the universe. And dwelling in that peace, I give great thanks that it is so. And let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. All right, this next song is Reverend Fairy Elaine's We Are All One. And that's really our philosophy. We are all one. We are connected by it, through it, as it. And so we like using that every week. If you know the words, sing along and sing it loud and sing it proud, because you can't bother anybody. If you don't know the words, learn them. It is a great song to get stuck in your head. Trust me.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I have seen, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
So if you are here, please say hello, good morning, hi, however you want to greet us. In a facility, I can look out and see who's here. I don't have that luxury here on the software. So the best way to do that is to say hi, hello, or good morning and let me know that you're here. Faith will be answering you, but I do look at those comments to see if there's something I need to add later. But she pretty much knows me better than I know myself. Also, if you like something that you hear, whether it's something I say or or something that Faith sings or a prayer that Oz does, then by all means, use the like button. And if you love something, make sure you send us hearts. We love to get love. And if something I say or something happens that is real powerful for you, by all means, use the wow button. We love getting that feedback because it tells us when we're on target. I just want to shout out to Angel Renee over there. Hi, Angel Renee. And so without further ado, we're going to have one of Karen Drucker's songs. I Stand for Peace, isn't it? Is that what it's called?
Stand. For years I would talk about how I wanted to change the world, but I've always left it up for someone else to do. And I realized that I needed to take a stand, and that by changing my thinking, I could change my life. And that's how I could change the world. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a Let there be peace. There be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. Let there stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. Let them stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be joy. Let him stand for joy. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. We are making a new world now. We love it in you. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace. Let there be love. Let there be joy. We are a stand for joy. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. We are making a new world. Thank you. That was the wrong karaoke track for that whole
Was it?
song. Yep.
Oh, that sucks.
That's what was throwing me off. But
Technical difficulties, I'm telling you.
right?
She's been freezing up all morning when we're having our meeting. It's like, oh no, I hope it doesn't happen in the service. And then it started to happen there, and it's like, oh well, technical difficulties. That's just the way of the world right now.
Right?
Thank you so much. I love that song. Thanks. So being a minister is interesting. You have 52 weeks out of the year where you have to say the same thing, but say it different ways every time. And that's tricky. Trust me. And where we get our inspiration from is really interesting also. Like my all-time favorite inspiration for peace is actually the Lord of the Rings Return of the King. There's some movies that I tape and then I watch over and over and over again because some of the content really inspires me. And that is one of them. And there's this point at which, what's his name, throws the ring into the volcano, and then they crown the other guy king, and he says, "Let there be peace between our lands." And I think, wouldn't it be nice if that's how it worked, not only in our country, but in other countries as well? Because there's always unrest around elections, right? It doesn't matter what country you're in. And so I thought, wouldn't it be nice if all it took was to throw this ring into the volcano and then crown the king or president or whatever, and say, and have that person say, "Let there be peace between our lands," and it just happens, it would be just so. It doesn't happen, especially in the United States, but I know it doesn't happen in any place else either. So, but I always look at that as one thing that would be a beautiful idea, to be able to bring everybody together. Like, we need to share peace together. And, no matter who wins an election, somebody's always upset, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. This last election, everybody was up in arms because of this, that, or the other thing. And I thought about that because it happens in other countries too, that, wouldn't it be nice if we just declare peace? Like, okay, it's over. Let's just declare peace. Everybody come together in a state of peace. But it doesn't work that way. So that's okay. But I also, one of the other things that inspires me about peace is the song One Tin Soldier. And that is a song about this little town up in the mountains, very secluded. And they had always been at peace. They had never had a war. They had never been involved in anything. But from the bottom of the mountain, everybody said, "Oh, they must have some treasure up there." And so this one group of people goes up there, soldiers goes up there and kills everyone, and then starts searching for the treasure. And when they find the treasure, they unearth this stone tablet that says, "Peace on earth, goodwill to man." And that's all it said. And think about that for a minute. I mean, how many times we lust for what we see someone else having and think, they have some secret treasure, or they have something that I don't have. Part of the issue in our country right now with the politics is that there's this lust for power, either people trying to keep power or people trying to gain power. And in that lust for power seems to be this idea that if only I would get power, or if only I could keep power, everything would be perfect. Well, perfection, from a recovering perfectionist, perfection is not all it's cracked up to be. I know that no matter what, there is no perfection out in the world. There's perfection in God, because God is perfect, but there's no perfection when we look around at our surroundings, or we look around at our lives. There is no perfection. And it's all the little imperfections that make life worth living, you see? Because if everything was perfect, do you know how boring that would be? I mean, I know it seems like a weird thing to say, but really, seriously, if everything was perfect and we had nothing to strive for, then our life would be kind of lackluster and boring. So one of the good things is that peace can be achieved no matter where you are. For instance, Ram Dass is a perfect example. Ram Dass, in his book, was talking about, he had been meditating in a temple, and he felt like he had advanced so far that he'd be able to meditate anywhere. And to prove his point, he went to New York City and sat on a street corner and meditated, because he could find peace even in the midst of all the hustle and bustle and the loud noise. And, New York is a really loud place. And so to prove his point to himself that he would be able to meditate anywhere, he did that. And we can find peace no matter whether we're in our homes meditating, or whether we are in a temple meditating, or whether we are in the streets of New York City. And I'm not saying you have to meditate in order to have peace. I'm just saying focusing on peace can be achieved anywhere. And so I've been following one of my favorite ministers to listen to, and he was talking about stress. and walking the path of peace. Not that you're going to walk for peace, but that you walk the path of peace. And so I'm going to ask you to do the same thing he asked us to do. And that is close your eyes for a second and take a deep breath. And then think of what is stressing you out in this moment. What is it? I think, it comes to you pretty quickly, but what is stressing me out? Okay, you can open your eyes. I'm sure something's crossed your mind by now. I bet I can guess what it is. So let me guess. Let's see. It is either a place, a pace, a problem, or a person or people. Right? Am I right? Did I get it? What's funny about all of that is that places do not have the power over us unless we give the power to it. Like, for instance, I had people who would stress out just coming to church. Nowadays, you just open your computer and there it is. Although I have to say, when you have technical difficulties, it's not that easy. So it can be stressful. Or the pace. I mean, think about like what it's been like the last couple of months as you've scrambled to get the right gift and get the Christmas decorations up. And the pace of the world hasn't slowed down at all. Even though we were stuck in our homes for all that time, the pace never slowed down. It's like, it's so crazy all the time. And so if that stresses you out, you've got to realize that you've given your power away to the pace of your life. And perhaps it's a problem. That's what's stressing you out right now. And problems are only a condition that we experience that we give our power away, and that's what makes them a problem, right? So, and then there's people, right? Like you could be holding something against somebody. Someone can say something that will just send you over the moon, angry or afraid or whatever. And if that's what's stressing you out, we need to understand what it means to put all of that aside and attain inner peace. This other guy that I follow, Sadhguru, has 3 kids, and he was talking about how unpeaceful it is when you have 3 kids, because one kid is happy and the other 2 are not, or you get those 2 happy and the other one is not. And he says, you have to take those moments of peace when nobody's fighting and everything's fine. You need to take those moments of peace and just revel in them, because those are your moments. Like he goes outside sometimes and just sits outside and breathes in air and goes, peace finally. And then he goes back inside and deals with whatever it is. My personal preference for any of that is to sit in a bathtub. I love to sit in a bathtub. I will turn off the lights, light some candles. I put either Epsom salts or bubble bath in, essential oil, something that just allows me to relax. I turn off the lights and I soak. And sometimes I don't even pray or meditate. I just sit in the silence and just revel in the fact that I'm in peace at that moment. So for me, that's a really good thing to do. In the summertime, I like to sit on my porch and I have the same effect there because I just revel in the beauty of my garden. But these days it's a little chilly, even though this December is one of the warmest Decembers I can ever remember. But I can't do that right now. It's just a little chilly for me still because I have a bird, right? He's talking about 3 dogs. He's talking about 3 kids. I have 3 dogs and 2 birds. And wherever I go, there goes Buddy. So if I leave the room, Buddy starts screaming. And so when I go to take a bath, I put Buddy up on the perch above me. I also have this man child who presents stress for me. And he's in the process of moving out. So that's going to be great. But I'm not waiting for him to move out to experience peace, because I know that is, it's like in January, when you make a New Year's resolution to exercise and you don't follow through with it. That's what it's like to wait for something to have peace, wait for the place or the pace to slow down, or wait for the problem to go away, or wait for someone to change in order to have peace. You can't do it that way. So instead, he talks about the technology of peace. He says, okay, so is everybody enjoying the sound? And he's such a funny guy. He's got like long white hair and he wears those robes, and like guru robes. And he has this jolly face, and he giggles to himself all the time. He talks and he giggles about what he's talking about. Such an inner feeling of joy that it just erupts in giggling. But anyway, he says, well, are you enjoying the sound? And people are nodding their heads, and he's giggling, and he's saying, well, think about it. You know, you have to understand the technology of sound to be able to create a good sound. So he said, you know, you have to have somebody that understands microphones, and somebody who understands amplifiers, and somebody who understands speakers. And he said, then you have the technology of sound. And he goes, the technology of peace is the same way. You have to understand what is inner peace before you can have it. So you have to have some idea of the technology of peace. Well, the technology of peace is that the inner peace of God resides within us already, right? And so the technology is already there. We just have to embrace it, open ourselves to it, allow it, and embrace it. And so I just love listening to him. He just cracks me up so much. His name is Sadhguru. It's Sadhguru. If in case you want to look him up on YouTube, he's awesome. I love listening to him. All right, let me see. I got to get to my notes here. So I know that some things that have been going on for everyone is not being able to be with family at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like last year, we did a Zoom for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and this year we didn't do one. And it's sad. My nephews are not vaccinated, and so we will never be able to be together as a group again, because my husband, Lynn, has had a lung transplant, and the anti-rejection drugs that they have him on will preclude him from being around anyone who is not vaccinated. And so we will never be able to meet together as a family, which causes my sister and I some stress. I don't know how the kids feel about it, but it does cause us some stress that we can't do the traditions that we've always done. But I know that we adjust, and you have to adjust pretty much. Just like we couldn't have church in person, so we adjusted by doing it online. And we didn't have clapping after the song to give feedback to the singers once they're done. And so now I clap. And when Tina sings, Faith and I clap for her so that she gets that feedback. You know, I can't see who's here. I don't get the feedback of the posture and the facial expressions and the eyes and all of that. And so we ask people to press a button and show us how they feel, either saying hi, hello, good morning, or like, love, allow, or wow. So we've adjusted in that way. And that's really, I think, how you find peace, is by adjusting to what's going on in your world. And this minister that I dearly love, Reverend Dr. Edward Viljoen, who is he's from South Africa, a Dutch guy from South Africa, who has this amazing accent. But he talks about going to his mentor minister and letting her know what's going on for him. And he said, you know, I made a mistake, and I'm beating myself up for this mistake. And she said, don't swim with the sharks, swim with the dolphins when you're bleeding. And I thought about that statement, because what that means is, like, sharks will attack you when you're bleeding, right? But dolphins will be like, forget it. Forget that you're bleeding. Come on, let's go play. And so the people in your lives really affect you, especially if you give power over to them. So don't give power over to the sharks in your life. Don't give power over to those who may not have your best interests at heart, or who are selfish and only want what's good for them. Don't give your power away to anybody, but I'm just saying, like, associate with people who want to take you up, lift you up, want to invite you out to play, so to speak. Not that we can go out and play much these days, but they have that attitude of, like, let's do this together. Let's lift up together. Those are the people, the cheerleaders that you want to have in your life, more so than any of the sharks who are willing to attack you because you're bleeding. Let's see. One of the things that I don't give my power away, my peace power away, to another person is, because if someone can give me peace, they can also take it away. The only person that I can rely on for a peaceful feeling is myself. And to know that God within me is the power of my peace, so that I'm never giving anyone the power to either give me peace or take it away at any point. When we give our power to either a place, a peace, or a pace, bleh. Okay, let me try that again. When we give our power away to either a place, a pace, a problem, or a person, we have to claim it back if we really want inner peace. And it's not a peace that we're aiming for. It's the peace that is already within us. It has God within us already. In the Bible, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. It doesn't say anything about pitching a tent and camping there. It doesn't say anything about allowing yourself to wallow in those things that are disrupting your peace. Or as Sadhguru says, obstructions, the obstructions that we allow in our lives to peace. And also it says, my peace I give unto you, my peace I leave with you, because that inner peace of God is what is within us. So when Jesus was talking about that, what he was saying is that there is an inner peace within you that is God working within you. And that's what is left with you. You see, no matter what's going on in your life, you're in the eye of the hurricane because the peace already exists within you. And it's not about forcing. Please understand, we can't force peace. We can only allow. Whenever we force anything, let alone peace, whenever we try to force anything, it completely takes away our power. And so what you want to do is want to be in a state of receiving, to know that that peace is already within you, and it is the truth about you, and it is what you have already. And you're allowing it to be present. I don't know what your version of God is. My version of God is not a wise judge in the sky with white robes and a white beard and white hair who judges us. My version of God is someone is an intelligence that does not see strife, chaos, does not see anything other than peace. And I know that that is the intelligence that lives within me. So how can I know anything but peace if I just allow myself? Now, if I start listening to the news, I have to listen to a certain amount of it. I've had to know how many cases there were of COVID, for example, because Lynn was operating on 30% of his lungs. Well, now that he's had this lung transplant, his immune system will be totally destroyed. And so I'm still going to have to know how many cases are out there, because I will need to know when it's safe for me to go out and do things and when it's not safe for me to go out and do things, so that I don't bring something home to him. And so I listen to the news only for that. Well, I actually have a little thing on my phone that I can click on that tells me how many cases there are here in Colorado and how many in my particular county, for example. But I listen to the news very briefly. I just want to know what's going on in the world, and then I turn it off. Because if I focus on all the things that are happening in not only the United States, but all over the world, if I focus on that, I find myself losing my peace. So I try to listen to it just enough to get an idea of what's going on in the world. And then I try to focus back on peace, on the love coming in through the funnel above me, funneling out through me, the love of God, and the peace of God staying within me. And I focus my attention on that, because that's really where we're going to find our peace. We can't wait for the world to change. We can't. It just is impossible. And so what we have to do instead is to celebrate the peace that is already within us and focus our attention on that, and exclusively that, and not allow anything else to interfere or obstruct, as Sadhguru says. But yeah, I can't say his name today for some reason. And it's not that I'm perfect. It's not that I don't fall down. I do. I definitely fall down. For instance, I have this. I like to go to Florida every year, and one of my favorite things to do is to go to from St. Pete's or Clearwater over to Sarasota. And in order to do that, I have to go up the Sun Bridge. Well, what's interesting about the Sun Bridge, and I don't know why it catches me the way it does, but if you look at it from the bottom, it looks like it's straight up. And when you get to the top, it looks like it's straight down. And it's really not that high. Honest to God, it really isn't that bad. Intellectually, I know that. Something happens to me when I see it going straight up, and when I get on it, something really interesting happens to me, and I start to panic. And I think it's because you have one lane going this way, one lane coming this way, and you have a walking bridge in between. But if something were to happen to my car, I'm not sure there's a place for me to pull over and sit. And so it gives me this like, and so I started practicing this mantra just as a way to keep peace within myself when all of that's going on. And it's the same mantra that one of my friends taught me when she was traveling back and forth from Colorado Springs to the School of Ministry in the wintertime. And she said, whenever there's ice on the road or whatever, I say, wherever I go, God goes before me, preparing the way and keeping me safe from harm. And so that's what I use when I'm going over that bridge. So I work at it. It's not that it comes easy for me, and it's not that I've perfected it or mastered it or anything. It's just that I work at it all the time because I'm more interested in having peace than anything else. I used to always, in my mind, when I'm arguing with somebody, I used to always say, I would rather be happy than right at this moment. And I guess what I'm saying is I would rather have peace than anything else in this moment. So I'm taking a stand for peace whenever I say that. That's why I like that song. I'm taking a stand, and I am a stand for peace. And so I invite you to think about what things you've given power to and what you need to do in order to bring that power back, to have peace when you don't see peace, when there's no peace apparent in your life. And this one minister that the Path of Peace that I was talking about said, he says, things, we think peace has to be this big, huge thing, and it's really very easy if we just allow it. We don't have peace, he says, because we are looking at the missing pieces in our lives instead of looking at the peace that is within our lives. You see, like, for instance, having this church service is a perfect example. I could focus on the idea that, gosh, we don't have a facility. I don't get one-to-one contact with people. There's no clapping after the song. I could look at all of that and focus on that, or I can focus on adjusting and recognizing the peace that is within, and being comfortable with however we need to adjust, right? So we've adjusted. We clap for the singer. We have you press a little button to give us feedback. We've adjusted in that way. And think about how you've adjusted to life with COVID, right? I mean, seriously, we have pickup from restaurants now, delivery from restaurants now, pickup from and delivery from the grocery stores now. So the world has adjusted to what we need to do to keep everybody safe. And that doesn't mean that there isn't peace involved in it. In fact, it gives us peace of mind not to have to go in stores. Some of us don't care. But for those of us who really want to feel safe, we don't go into places like the grocery store or anywhere where there's a whole bunch of people without masks, right? Lynn and I will probably be living our lives this way for the rest of our lives, wearing a mask all around whenever we're around anybody. And so we've adjusted to that reality and made peace with it and allowed peace to be there in the middle of it. But can you imagine a God in turmoil? Can you imagine what it would be like if God were able to experience the turmoil that all of us experience with COVID and elections and political stuff, all of that? No, I can't even picture a God like that. Well, the Old Testament God was sort of like that. The Old Testament God, was a war God who smote the enemies of the Israelites. So he kind of did have a perception of strife and all of that. But the version of God that I believe in could not have that. The version of God I believe in is that divine intelligence that runs in and through all of us. That's why we are one. And that divine intelligence knows nothing but peace. And so instead of being focused on the missing pieces, because as a recovering perfectionist, I can tell you right now, it is so easy for me to focus on what's missing, right? We're all really good at that, but it's really good for, like easy for me, because I was a perfectionist for so many years. And if I allow myself, I'll slide right back into that. It's very easy to happen. But instead of focusing on what's missing, I'm focused on what tools we have available to us to allow us to experience this service better. And so one of the things in the way of inner peace is that focusing on the pieces that are missing in your life. And so I invite you to think about what are the things that you focus on that don't bring you peace. Like, where are you focused on missing pieces in your life? Maybe it's a relationship gone bad. Maybe it's a job that you lost. Maybe it's your freedom that you feel like you've lost because you can't go and do whatever you want to do without a mask or without a vaccine or whatever. Those are things that are missing. And if you focus your attention on those, they're going to keep you from peace. So I invite you to think about that. Like, what is in the way of my peace? What is the obstruction I'm placing in the way of my peace? And what have I given my power away to? And, it's always a choice. Peace is a choice, just like any other choice. Every decision we make is a choice. It's a choice between this or that, this or that. In this case, I choose peace over feeling a lack of freedom. I choose peace over being right. I choose peace over seeing all of the craziness in the world and getting taken in by it. And so I give my power only to God within me to provide peace to me. I don't give my power to anything else that is out there. No conflict, no anything. I don't give my power away to a place. I don't give my power away to the pace of the world, because I can always stop and slow down and experience peace. I don't have to keep that pace. I only experience that pace because the world has sped up and I'm caught up in it. I choose peace. I don't give my power away to places, people, things. I don't give projects, problems. I don't give my power away to any of these things, because for me, God is more powerful than any of those. I remember years ago, 40 years ago, was when Lynn and I were dating. There was this girl who had had an accident 12 years before. And it was at this intersection. And 12 years later, she still would not go past that intersection. She would go clear around to avoid that intersection. Now, if she had been interested in experiencing peace and taking her power back, she would go to that intersection and sit there and allow herself to heal and to experience the peace of being in that spot, knowing that she's not going to have another accident. But anyway, that's one of those things where we have given our power away to a place. We give our power away to the pace of the world when we don't take a moment, just a moment, to sit and just, whether that be out on your porch or in a bathtub or in the shower even, or just sitting on the couch and just being for a moment and just opening yourself to the inner peace within you. I want peace now, don't you? I don't want to wait for a person to change. I don't want to wait for the pace of everything to slow down. I don't want to wait till the problem is over. I don't want to wait until a place becomes easier. Do you? Do you want peace now? Don't you think that you'd rather have peace in this moment than any of that stuff that's going on? I really love that we can draw on that infinite power, that infinite presence of God, that inner knowing that this inner peace is there anytime we want. Whether it's a corner in New York City or in a monastery or the quietness of a temple or your bathtub or your porch, just know that you can experience peace whenever you choose it. And so every time you make a choice for peace, you experience that peace. And all of us who've either been on the Biden train or the Trump train, let's just get on the peace train, can we? Shall we just jump on the peace train? Because really that's where it's at. It doesn't really matter who wins elections when you're on the peace train. It doesn't really matter what, where, how things are going to go when you're on the peace train. When you're on the peace train, it doesn't matter that we have coronavirus going crazy. All that matters is that inner feeling that you have that knows all things will be okay. Everything is going to be fine at some point. everything will be fine. And what I know now is that everything is fine here and now in God. Let's have a prayer. So I turn my awareness now to the infinite power, the infinite presence of God, to that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful God really is, how present God really is, in and through and around all of life. And so that it is in and around and through all of me. That is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that one infinite power, infinite presence of God, that wisdom of the ages that flows through me. I know that same truth to be so for the team that God has provided me. For Faith and for Tina and for Lynn and for Oz. I know that that is absolutely who and what they are. That they live and breathe and have their beingness in the midst of God. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that same infinite wisdom that lives within me. I know that same truth to be so for every person who is watching this, whether that be in real time or later on, because there is no place where God is not. There is no condition that we can experience that God's power does not come through. And so I celebrate that we are one. Mataki Urasan, we are related, or all my relations, we are all one. And so as this coming week unfolds, as we move into an awareness of peace this time of year, I know that we are presented with opportunities to sit and reflect and allow that peace to come through, no matter what we're experiencing, because we are focusing on peace and not the missing pieces. We are focusing on peace and not the outer world. We are focused on the peace of God within us that allows us to experience the joy and peace and love and power of God here on earth. And so I know the same truth to be so for every name that is in the ministry of prayer this morning, because I do know that whatever condition they are experiencing, the power of God has more power than the condition itself. So I pull back the veil and reveal that spiritual truth here and now. I claim it, know it, receive it in their names as good and very good. And so my heart just fills with gratitude to know this is so, to be of service in this way, as I just let it unfold. And so it is. Amen. Whew. All right. It has come to our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and our opportunity, or your opportunity, to express your gratitude for that which you have received in form already, and that which you have been expressing or creating in the mind of God, but may not be physically present on this earth yet. Please go to www.oasiscsl.org. And about 2/3 down the page is an offering affirmation. And then underneath that is the Contribute Now button. We're going to say that offering affirmation together here in just a few minutes. But I want to address the contribution here. Please know that the contribution you give is not about salaries. It's about God's message getting out into the world. It's about the mission of our organization being able to be fulfilled throughout the world, so that other people can experience the same uplifting, inspiring messages that you're receiving. I hope. I hope they're inspiring and uplifting for you. And I would really like to see that happen across the world. I think that is one of the ways that we can contribute to the peace of the world. This is how we take a stand for peace. And this is how we jump on that peace train. So Please go to www.oasiscsl.org, whether that's in real time or later on, and say this offering affirmation with me right now. This perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive, and so it is. Please click on that Contribute Now button. And I want to let you know that next Friday is the last day for you to contribute to get your year-end giving in. After that, you won't be able to take it off your taxes. So please do your year-end giving with us. I know there's a lot of worthy organizations out there, but we would really like to see our message or God's message get out into the world. So please do that now. All right. And so we have this wonderful ministry of prayer, but with our licensed practitioners that we call the God Squad. And they will pray on any requests for every day for an entire week. So if you would like prayer for something, please put that in the comment section. If you don't want it to be public, you can always message one of us, and Faith will make sure that it gets on the group page that is private for the God Squad. And that's how they get their prayer requests. And if you would like to be on the God Squad, you don't necessarily have to be a licensed practitioner. You do, however, have to commit to doing affirmative prayer every day for a week on those requests and keep those requests confidential. So if you would like to do that, say yes in the comment field, and Faith will add you to that private facing group page on Facebook that allows you to get access to the prayer requests. And then also, if you would like to be part of our online community, you can do that, get to know what we have going on before anybody else knows. That's where we post all of the announcements that we're going to have this event or that event. You can also talk amongst yourselves in that group, which is kind of nice. And it is a public facing group page. So if you would like to be part of that, type more in the comment section and Faith will add you to that. I wanted to let you know that Oz is available after the service for what we call our 1-minute miracle. It's not a time for counseling, but it is a time that you can share whatever challenge you're experiencing right now, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. And you reach out to him through video chat on Facebook. If he's busy, if he doesn't answer right away, it means that he is on with someone else, and so give him a few minutes and then try again. But our licensed practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance as well. And you can reach out to them again, either on Facebook or through our website, and connect with them. Tell them you would like to make an appointment. They'll make the appointment with you. They'll tell you how you can pay them, either Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, however they choose. I don't monitor that. That's their own choice. And then they will video chat you at the appointment time, and they will give you spiritual guidance during that time. Also, please know, let's see, I don't have my bracelet on, but we have several people that support us that we like to support. One is Brooks and Bailey. She has wonderful mala beads and bracelets. And all of the proceeds benefit Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue. You can reach out to her through brooksandbailey0307@gmail.com. And she has a Facebook page also. So just search out Brooks and Bailey. The bracelets that she has these clasps that is a little circle with a bar that goes through it. And that bracelet has only fallen off of me once in like a year and a half. So I wanted to let you know about that. And then we have Faith.
And then this is my metaphysical shop. Please go and check out our website. You can purchase your own intention jars as well as kits to make them and bath salts. And then follow all of our social media. We are going to be hosting something for New Year's Eve / New Year's. So make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for updates on that.
Okay. And this is the intention jar she made for me for prosperity. So when I'm working on prosperity, excuse me, when I'm working on prosperity, I hold that in my hand and I kind of twist it and turn it. Helps me focus on my intention. And also we have Angel Renee, who has intention candles for $25 and an intention tea bag, which I think is a great idea. It's like $10, but you put it in the bath and you inhale the essences, and it helps you focus on your intention as well. So she has an Etsy store, and so you can purchase it through there. Faith has provided the links for all of this in the comments section. So I also want to acknowledge Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver and her music. You can purchase a CD. You can go on the CD on her website and look for the CD that you want. And then you just have to contact her by email to figure out how to pay for it and get it shipped to you. She's unable to update her website for whatever reason, and she travels around the country all the time singing. So that's the only way you can get one of her CDs, but she does have them and she will ship them to you. The other one is Karen Drucker, who has provided us with her entire collection of 20 CDs. And you can buy hers on her website with a song, by CD, by songbook, and some of the songs in the songbook. I made it all the way through this without coughing. Some of the songs in the songbook have American Sign Language, so if you're interested in learning sign language, that's a great way to do it. You can purchase all of that on her website because she does have a way for you to pay for it. So anyway, and then check out our website at www.oasiscsl.org. You can see our videos of our sermons for the last year and a half, and you can get audio files from the previous years and we also are on YouTube for the video files and SoundTown for the sound files under S. Tucker. So you'll be able to find it. So check out our website. I think we have a pretty good website. It has a lot of stuff on it. So it's always good. And I have a special treat for you today. Instead of I Am So Blessed, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I want to do this real quick. This is last year, Tina singing Peace Train.
I've been happy lately, thinking about the good things to come. And I believe it could be something good has begun. I've been smiling lately, dreaming about the world as one. I believe it could be someday it's gonna come. Out of the edge of darkness, where I could be straight. Oh, peace train, take this dark street, but make me whole again. I've been smiling lately, thinking about the good things to come. Now I believe it could be something good has begun. A peace train sounding louder, right on the peace train. Ooh, come on, the peace train. The peace train, oh, new roller, everyone jump on the peace train. Ooh, come on the peace train. Get your bags together, go and bring your good friends too. It's getting nearer, as soon as those of you come and join the living. It's not so far from you. And it's getting nearer, soon it goes. Peace train sounding louder, right on the peace train. Ooh, come on the peace train, peace train.
Even though she's not here, I'm going to clap anyway.
And I know that peace is here right now. For peace is always present within God, and God is everywhere and ever present and eternal and always with us. And as I relax into that knowledge, I know that it is good and very good, and I let it be so, and so it is.
And so it is. Okay, everybody, join us next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. We will be doing visioning for the coming year. One of the tools in our toolkit that we just love doing because it really sets us up for that quarter and for that year as powerful. So stay safe, wear a mask. Until next week, we love you. And we'll see you next week. Get vaccinated. Bye.